ቡና ላይ እንደሱ ነገር
እዚያ
ማግኘት እችላለሁ። በጣም ቆንጆ በጣም ቆንጆ ስንት ዳቦ ነው የጋገራችሁ? አራት የጋገርነው ቁጭ ብለን አድረን እንግዲህ ዛሬ ዓመት ያድርሳችሁ። ደግሞ የበለጠ የምናከብረው ያድርገን።
አሜን። የዛሬ ዓመት ማስግስት ነው የምንጋገር። የዛሬ ዓመት ሴት ልጅ ጀላልኛለሁ። የዛሬ ዓመት ሴት ልጅ
አበቀውን ቆንደደውን ይዤ አንቺ
She's really Ethiopian. Oh yeah. This is really unbelievable. I can't believe her. Look how she looks like. She looks like really Ethiopian. Oh my God. Whoa. The way she dressed, I like it. Come on, sweet. Because I wanna, የመጣችሁ ሰዓት ሳይሄድብን ሰዓት እያለፈ ስለሆነ ወደ መድረኩ እባካችሁ ትፈለጋላችሁ በአስቸኳይ ፕሊዝ። አስተናጋጆች ቦታችሁን እንድትይዙልን በጥሞና እንለምናለን። ሊቀመንበሩና የስፖርት ኮሚቴ ሊቀመንበር በንግግር ላይ እንዳሉ ፎቶኮፒ ያነሳል ፎቶአችሁ። ከዚያ በኋላ የለው አባክ
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, good evening. premier anniversaire d'Opération Solo, historic moment and the beginning of a new era for the Jews of Ethiopia. Before we begin our program, I would like to wish about a decade ago, the Jews of Ethiopia began a long and difficult journey. Determined to overcome any difficulties they could be facing on their way, they used neighboring Sudan as a escape route from discrimination and fulfilled their dreams of returning to their another earlier founding of Ethiopian Jews from another Sudan, codenamed Operation Moses, took place that immediately aborted once it was leaked to the media. In a way to successful for it brought the dreams of thousands of people
It is a tremendous, tremendous thrill to welcome you here tonight to join in the celebration of the redemption of us. In this room, you know who you are, who remember some very deep, deep, dark days, not that the lesson of the value of every single Jew. I remember in discussions that took place in some of those years with officials of various countries who would say, how many Jews do you want? What are the numbers? What are you talking about? And we would say, we want every single one. That we, the Jewish people, suffered the penultimate tragedy in this century, would not leave one Jew behind. But this is not a test in which 80 or 90 or 99% would find safety. I should like to share just one particular thought, dear friends, which will always remain with me. I remember as I saw the pictures of Ethiopian Jews arriving in Eretz Israel. It was a very poignant picture of one very... And I thought to myself, as I saw that picture, which remains in my mind,
the people who came to us from Ethiopia are describing, I am sure that the Ethiopian community here in Montreal is totally aware of these problems, which are totally human but difficult problems, and we are committed to solve them. It is not so easy just to leave the country and come to the land of Israel and to have a new home, a new life. But these people today, in all Israel, they are not looking behind. They are looking for the future. And today they are part and parcel of the Jewish and Israeli society in Eretz Israel. You will be pleased maybe to hear that since Operation Moses and Operation Solomon, we have already in Israel a few thousands of them. That for the first time, maybe for the majority of them, they are going to take part in the elections in just 48 hours in Israel. They will be electing in a democratic way. And this is for the first time for the majority of these people who came to Operation Solomon. But we still have another communities. We still have the Syrian community, which is still in danger. Even the latest statement given by the Syrian government. We still have another humanitarian problem that we have to deal with and we have to solve. And I'm talking about our missing soldiers. We have to do our utmost effort that these young brothers will come.
Emphasize on this matter right now for the chairman of the Ethiopian Jews Organization of Canada, Mr. Abraham, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, good evening. First of all, I would like to thank you on behalf of the community and myself coming to celebrate the first anniversary Operation Solomon. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason we are gathering here tonight is to celebrate Operation Solomon. However, before I talk about the Operation Solomon, I would like to tell you in short the history of the Ethiopian Jews. The Jews of Ethiopia once thought they were the only Jews left on the face of the earth, now joined with their brother in the promised land. Unknown to the outside world, for thousands of years lived the Jews of Ethiopia in the northeast of Africa, usually called the Horn of Africa. There is no concrete written evidence that tells us as to how our community went to Ethiopia. Though there are a couple of ideas. One, the Jews of Ethiopia are descendants of the tribes of Dan, which for the long had been called the Lost Tribes, who fled from Eretz Israel after the destruction of the first temple and headed in the Egypt and then to the Sudan and to the western parts of Ethiopia, which is called the province of Gondar, where most Ethiopian Jewish population were located, and another group headed south along the river Nile and settled the other province called Goja. The second idea is that the Jews of Ethiopia are descendants of King Solomon and Queen Shaba, or it might well be they are descendants of the two ideas above combined together. No matter what the story reads, only one thing is quite certain. The Ethiopian Jews are one of the most religious people who still follow the Torah as it was in the old days. Despite many discriminations and confrontations, the Ethiopian Jews still maintain their identity and religion. For the first time in the 10th century, there was a Jewish queen outside of Jerusalem, which was called Yehudit, conquered northern Ethiopia, including the ancient capital, Aksum, in front of Beth Israel were killed, and the same number of people were forced to convert to Christianity, and those who refused had to suffer in order to keep their religion and identity. All their lands and rights had been taken from them. Since that time, the Beth Israel became the poorest for the rest of their life. Our great-grandparents and the elders of the generation were agreed on the basic principle that the time will come when we will return to Zion by the route which brought us to Ethiopia. From west we came, and we are destined to return by the same route. This unsolved dream passed from generation to generation for thousands of years by hoping we will come back to the promised land, Holy Land, Jerusalem. As it is written, I will gather you and bring you to the promised land, a land I promised to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. One might ask how this tribe was found and how the promise and the dream became practical. In the 9th century, traveler Eldad Hadani, Dani in Hebrew, reported that his people, the lost tribes of Dan, and 3 other tribes of Ethiopia had served in the mountain area of Northeast Africa. In the 15th century, the Rabbi of Jewish Egypt, David ibn Abu Zimra, known as Radbad, said that the Falashas were basically Jews from the tribe of Dan, who had adopted some strange customs. Dr. Kitlowicz, who was born in Poland, realized that there were Jews in Ethiopia. Dr. Kitlowicz, with his sister, set up a school in Addis Ababa in 1924. His first pupils were Tamrat Imanu, had become the first Ethiopian professor and advisor of Emperor Haile Selassie. Mr. Yona Bogale had become a minister of education, and later, after he read the conversion of 4,000 Ethiopian Jews to Christianity on the article, he left his position and devoted his time for his community up to the end of his life. Taddese Yakov had become Minister of Finance. Dr. Titlovich set up another school in Gondar province, Amboba, under the guidance of Yona Bogada. Dr. Titlovich, after devoted his entire life to the Ethiopian Jews, when he died in 1955, he gave his large house in Tel Aviv to Beit Israel. After, also Professor Wolf Lislow was able to introduce the Ethiopian Jews to American Jews. He reopened the schools and sent students to Israel. Based on all the above, other practice, the chief. One thing is always true. For him who keeps his faith in God will all Jews of Ethiopia have came true. It began about a decade ago when Jews from Ethiopia started to flee to neighboring. Most of made it and many unfortunately couldn't make it beyond Sudan. At large was made public and the mission was stopped unfinished. After the Sudan secret mission, which was called Operation Moses, interrupted in 1991, May 24, thanks to the Israeli government, civilian and army, also to the American Jewish organizations and the American government, especially Mr. Bush, the miracle fleet known as Operation Solomon rescued more than 14,000 Ethiopian Jews within 36 hours. When I think of the operation, it seems to me that that was the act of God, not human being. The time was very risky. The guerrillas were rushing to control Addis Ababa, but the Israelis determined to do their tasks. Today, at this time, when we celebrate this holy mission, we are very happy. We want to express our feelings to all the Jewish organizations and specifically to Canadians who are sharing our feelings. Thanks to those volunteers and cooperative individuals and organizations. But here now the settlement shouldn't be left to the Israeli government alone. All the Jewish community and organizations must work together as usual. Not only this, the Ethiopian Jews. There are also other unsolved Jewish problems all over the world. We wish to other Jews all over the world the good things. Thank you.
Thank you, Matakia. Speaking of Ethiopian Jews in Canada, whose number is between 100 to 120 individuals, we first need to talk about how did they get here. Most of us came here under the sponsorship of Jewish Immigration Aid Services, which is called JIAS, an organization that contributed a lot in bringing us to Canada. And now to speak on behalf of JIAS, please welcome Mr. Robert Clayman, President of JIAS.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here today representing JIAS. As a Montrealer, when I think back to Operation Solomon and we just saw the pictures of the films, it still doesn't seem real. It was so miraculous. It was as if we were watching a Hollywood picture of the cast of thousands and John Wayne heroes. It just wasn't real. But there were heroes. And thinking back to the Ethiopians who kept their faith for the centuries in isolation, risked all to go to Israel was truly heroic. And of course the state of Israel, that always heroic, who basically responsible for all of us and told the world that they're responsible for all of us, but also I think told each Jew, whether born in Marrakesh or Kiev Montreal, Addis Ababa, or Tel Aviv, that we were responsible for each other. And there's no place in the world more heroic than Israel. Also, Joyous had as we said, the honor of helping out in a small way the group of 100 to 120 who came to Montreal prior to Operation Solomon. And there's no group of immigrants that had it rougher. The cultural differences, and also the fact that they were so few that they didn't have a large base to support themselves with. And it's very difficult. But to see them persevere like their forefathers have for thousands of generations, I guess, or thousands of years, and to see this beautiful night tonight, they're heroes also, what they had to come up with it, what they had to do, and what they're doing for us tonight. So Joyous wishes to toast all the heroes involved in Operation Solomon, and we wish success to the Ethiopian community here and in Israel. Thank you.
We believe the new age of miracles started after the Holocaust, when the survivors came to Israel and started making the desert bloom and turned the dream of a homeland into a reality. These miracles can only be appreciated in full by the survivors, those who witnessed the end of their great Jewish communities. The miracles continued with the immigration of over 500,000 Jews from Arab lands who witnessed the demise of their communities. We are fortunate in our generation to have witnessed a new Jewish age. And similarly, we should recognize that Jews must play an active role in our redemption. The first, most recent miracle was in the early 70s when a few Jewish students brought to the attention of the world a plate of Soviet Jewry. I remember when it was not popular to talk about demonstrations for Soviet Jewry. I remember in '67 when the skeptics dared not dream. There were only 2,000 Jews that had escaped the USSR and immigrated to Israel. Who would have thought there would be an aliyah of 600,000 Jews from the USSR? But the dreamer's dream became reality. The dreamer in the diaspora, along with the brave people of Israel, brought about the new miracle. Today we bear witness to the dream of Jews from Ethiopia. In spite of the skeptics who did not recognize their plight, to the idealism of a new generation who somehow understood that to act upon a dream creates miracles. We bear witness and thank those dreamers, and again, the people of Israel for fulfilling a 2,000-year-old dream. The extent of that miracle may be understood, but may be only appreciated by the 45,000 Ethiopian Jews who've made it to their homeland. We thank in appreciation those who rescued the remnants of Beit Israel. As Jews, we must remember, even while celebrating Operation Solomon, the thousands who perished in this decade alone in the Horn of Africa. They could not bear witness to this miracle as we have. Personally, I'm dreaming of the day when the last remnants from Syria, from Yemen, come to Eretz Israel. It is up to each one of us to make this dream become a miracle. It's so much easier to dream today than it was years ago. Thank you.
Today at the Y, we opened Espace 92, a commemoration of the 500 years since the expulsion of the Jews from Spain. And as well, we celebrated the rich Sephardic culture that they brought with them throughout the world and the benefits to the Montreal Jewish community. Tonight, we celebrate the first anniversary of Operation Solomon, a miraculous airlift that took thousands of Jews from Ethiopia to Eretz Israel last year. And we salute Montreal's small but vibrant Ethiopian community who has made their home at the Y. This year, we were privileged to host the first Ethiopian community Seder at the Y, as well as ongoing groups for children and adults. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Y Montreal Jewish Community Centers, we wish the Ethiopian community, both in Israel and Montreal, continued joy and success.
Thank you, Mr. Yehudi. Last but not least, our next speaker is one who has served our community as representative and chairman of the Ethiopian Jewish community at the Canadian Jewish Congress for the past 10 years, and one who was the first person to foster a young girl and helped her to succeed in school to graduate from Concordia University in biochemistry. Now I call upon Mr. Stancy Trumbull.
Thank you. Consul General, rabbis, ladies and gentlemen. I think back to 12 years ago, May of 1980, when almost by chance I happened to step into a workshop at a Canadian Jewish Congress plenary. It took place that year in Toronto. I had gone down to help Erwin Cosler win the election. He won, but the greater impact, I think, was the few minutes I spent in the workshop, which was being addressed by an Ethiopian Jew, first I had ever met. I think it was probably the first time I had ever heard of Ethiopian Jews. He was explaining a plight which I found almost impossible to digest. He was explaining the plight of the Jewish community in Africa, where he described the situation as one of deep poverty, terrible illness, political oppression, religious discrimination, to the point in areas of the country where they were even subject to slavery. It had a tremendous impact on the small number of us who attended that workshop. I became involved with the Canadian Jewish Congress. Some years later, in 1988, my wife and I visited the areas that Baruch spoke about in that speech in 1980. And although 8 years had gone by since the first time I heard about the Ethiopian Jews, we were able to witness with our own eyes many of the things that he had spoken about. The economic poverty was something that we could not really envisage until we saw it. The state of poor health was quite indescribable. The nature of diseases, the kinds of diseases that we have stopped reading about, never mind experiencing, they still had. One scene that I'll never forget is of a crippled young woman who had to move by crawling in the mud, not even crutches. We saw students going to school, but in remote areas it was very difficult. They had to walk for miles barefoot. But the scene that was most pervasive and the most touching, I think, was that in each of the villages you could see the divided families. You could see people coming up to speak with us, holding up pictures, because by that time about half the community was already in Israel and half was left behind. And they would hold up pictures, and you could see the longing of mothers for children, of husbands for their children, of husbands for wives, and so on. In one very poignant experience we had, there was a father who had not seen his children for some 8 years, and his plea was, before I die, I want to see my children. Well, Operation Solomon took place. Thank God for the state of Israel. And as a result of Operation Solomon, and the similar rescues that took place before that, the fathers who wanted to see their children before they die are seeing their children by the thousands. And the children who wanted to go to school they are going to school and not walking miles barefoot. The ill are being taken care of, and the families are reunited. And thanks to the State of Israel. Congratulations to the State of Israel. We pledge our continued support to the state, and we celebrate with full hearts, our cup floweth over, that we have the privilege of having seen such a wonderful miracle take place and in our time.
Jewishness. These people, if they were still with us alive, they would be the first people to come and talk. And these are, may they rest in peace, Rabbi Hausman and Rabbi Dumber. We appreciated their help when they were alive, and we thank them for that. And also I would like to thank people, very, very special people, who helped make this event possible. The first person will be Ms. Yvonne Margot, who worked day and night. Who worked day and night with the community and helped us a lot. I don't know how to thank you, Yvonne. And who helped us a great deal to make this event possible. And also Jennifer, who took over from Edna when she went to vacation. We thank you, Jennifer. There is a food after the program, Ethiopian food. Could be served at the right corner for me. Okay. And now it's the children's program. Will be.
have you as a captive audience, so to speak. We're going to make you work for your Ethiopian food. We're going to have you sing an Ethiopian song. I barely know the words, so don't worry, I'm in the same position as you are. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to sing a lullaby to our children. If someone would like to turn out maybe half the lights, we'll get into the mood of the thing. We can find the light. There's one light. Don't fall asleep on us, but this could do it. Just imagine that you're in the dark, the sun has set. Your husband has been searching for grain for his supper all day. The mother has been carrying the infant around on her back all day, possibly all evening as well. It's a lot of work maintaining the family together in any situation. Sleep, my child. Sleep, my baby. It's enough. It's enough. Go down on the floor. Sleep, my baby. It's enough. It's enough carrying you around. Sleep, my baby. Everyone is exhausted. We're going to try to sing the song and you repeat the words after us. First, we're going to get the musical fix. The word N-I, ni. Try it with me. Ni, ni. Ni, 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 ni. Try it. Ni, 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 ni. Ni, 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 ni. Try it. Ni, 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 ni. Ni, 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 ni. Ni, 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 ni. Okay, you've done the first part. Same melody, but we're going to throw some words at you. Try to follow the words. Okay, we'll give you a chance to repeat the words in the same melody. Mi, mi, shoraru. Mi, mi, shoraru. Leje, shoraru. Leje, shoraru. Uraj, chajarbai.
Thank you, Eddie. It was wonderful. And thank you, children. We've heard the children singing, and we're going to see the adults dancing. So now we're going to perform an Ethiopian traditional dance with the adults. Performed by Shalom. And this is a drum. And was performed by Alwan. So the singers are going to play the instrument. are gonna come out there. Just watch.
It's in my yard, I say,